On this week's weekly video fishing forecast, we have a preview of the August issue of the Fisherman magazine. Senior editor Fred Golofaro has an update on the beach access, and I have my own fishing reports from my own sources, and the latest reports from around the island from our
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
The August issue is out now. I can't believe it's already halfway through the summer. Nick Honachevsky has what you need to know about catching kingfish. Fisherman's New England editor Dave Anderson has a timely article about being safe in the surf with all these sharks around. Jim Hutchinson and Fred Golofaro team up for more on the striped bass tagging and study program. All here in the August edition of thefisherman.com. Now let's take a look at this weekend's weather with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Ohlen. Rich?
All right, thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone. Let's check the weekend forecast, see what we got going on here across the island. You can always check out your favorite apps, websites, whatever tools you have. This is a general overview, general heads up on the upcoming weekend. So we check out water temps down a little bit, some low 70s, but still fairly warm across the island and the ocean. And the wave heights Saturday look okay. A general 2 to 4, settling down nicely. A little roll in the ocean, but not too bad. Saturday looks okay, pretty much a safe day. Sunday, we start to get some swells, it looks like. Maybe some 4 to 8s coming in from the east and south of the North Shore system, but it doesn't look horrible. It looks manageable. Just be safe around the inlets, of course. There's a future cast on Saturday. Southwest, 5 to 15, not bad. And then we start to get a little more of a southeast, perhaps, fetch coming in for Sunday afternoon, but the wind isn't really that bad. It's just the swells, perhaps, from the ocean there. Late in the day Sunday, we start to chop up from the southwest a bit. High tides with the new moon on Saturday, North Shore for the late morning, South Shore early morning, and high temps 70s to some 80s here for both Saturday, Sunday. Really not too hot. Check the Guru quickly and see what we got going on. There's your Saturday. You know, fairly light west-southwesterly breeze until after about 2 o'clock. It's not bad. And there's your Sunday. And, you know, the wind isn't terrible. It's manageable early. You start to get more of that onshore south breeze and, you know, also some waves building, some swells, it looks like, in the afternoon. But overall, maybe Saturday the better pick of the weekend, but both days look fishable. Be safe, enjoy, catch them up. Matt, back to you.
Remember, be sure to check out News 12 for the latest weather before you head out on the water. Now let's check in with Fisherman's senior editor, Fred Golofaro, with news from the Suds. Fred?
Hey Matt, and some good news on the access front this week. I heard from Nick Gibbons over at Suffolk County Parks. Smith Point is now open. It's open to Cut 2. From Cut 2 you can take Burma Road to the inlet, so the inlet's accessible again. And I'm hearing there are bluefish in the inlet and also some bass. Otherwise, on the access front, again, things looking good. Shinnecock now is open. We told you that last week, and demo is open to the jetty, and hopefully the bar will be open fairly soon too. So things are looking up, things getting back to normal as far as access goes. Along the South Shore, there's blues and Spanish mackerel in most of the inlets from Rockaway all the way out to Shinnecock. Plenty of sharks along the open beach on the bunker schools and some cobia. A lot of sharks being caught on chunks meant for bass or blues. Not hearing much in the way of bass, but there are some blues falling to chunks. Out in Shinnecock, Chris at Whitewater said there are some bass to the teens on bucktails and rubber shads on the East Jetty. That's pretty much all nighttime action. In Mauritius, Scott Bronson was out again fishing Smith Point and fins on the open beach. Sunday he had schoolies to 23 inches and some short fluke on 3/4 to 1 ounce bucktails tipped with Gulf swimming mullet. Divers I know reported a lot of schoolies on the backside of Mauritius, on the Cupsog side. They're hanging like below the new camping area up above. That old camping area down below near the old rock pile, they said there were a lot of fish there, and there were bigger fish in the slot and even above the slot over there. So that area might be worth exploring. Demo, I can tell you, lots of blues still. Is there Thursday AM and Thursday evening on the backside. A lot of blues, no bass. They were still there Sunday evening. And most likely they're still around. They've been hanging around all summer. We had a good spring. Hopefully we still have blues come this fall. That'll be something we haven't had in quite a few years. Along the North Shore, Mark over at Cow Harbor, he was talking about cocktail blues along most of the western and central Sound beaches. Some school bass, and that's mostly dawn and during the night. Out on the North Fork, I know from a very reliable source, there's been a good run of quality bass from the high teens to like 38 pounds. That's daybreak fishing on top waters, so that's something to get excited about. Montauk, Paulie over at Paulie's Bait and Tackle, he said things were a little off this week as far as bass go. Picking a few fish on the north and south sides at night, a few fish on the sand on bait up to slot size, but the blues are still bouncing around the north side and sometimes on the south side. This Saturday, August 7th, is the Libba Jamboree. That's going to kick off at 9:30 a.m. at Field 8 in Heckscher State Park. It's open to members, family, and prospective members, and if you come and bring along a can or a box of food for the food pantry, food's going to be served at 12:30. There'll be a DJ and games all day. It's a nice event, fun event, and hope to see you there. On Tuesday, August 10th at 6 p.m., Friends of Joseph Rera will be holding a paddle out at Cupsog Beach in his memory. The 16-year-old son, Moriches high school student, drowned while fishing the east jetty of Moriches Inlet on November 6th last year, if you remember that tragedy. Matt, back to you.
The summer heat hasn't slowed the fishing down at all. Moriches and Shinnecock bays are seeing no shortage of fluke, while keepers are a little tougher to come by. Shorts aren't. I have heard of a few lucky anglers taking fish over 10 pounds in the shallows, though, using white tackle outfits, which makes for an awesome surprise. The Montauk fluke bite has been a good option. Many of the party and charter boats have been decking quality fluke over 10 pounds as well. This sounds like a good time of the year to hop on one of them for a shot at a double-digit flatty. Keep in mind that while not many are actually targeting bass right now, they're still holding pretty strong around the inlets. A couple of divers saw good populations of bass from schoolies up to teen-sized fish around Moriches and Shinnecock Inlet. Focusing your efforts in the low light or after dark hours should give you a better shot at these fish. Don't forget about the large amount of Spanish mackerel roaming around the inlets. They can be caught on small tins and epoxy jigs. We should start hearing about bonita to follow in the near future. Both of these species are fun to catch and make a great meal. If you plan to head to the reef, you could still pick away at sea bass and triggerfish with a fluke or two hanging near the structure. Don't forget, within the jetty, some large porgies have also made residence for anglers to catch right now for some summer fishing fun. Now let's check in with Captain Timothy O'Rourke from Montauk. Tim?
Thank you, Matt. Well, greetings everyone from Montauk. Again, summer's in full swing. A lot of solid fishing, a lot of solid reports coming in. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that attended Skip Rudolph for the Adios's benefit last night at La Fin in Montauk. It was a great turnout. It was a really good thing to see the support for Skip Rudolph and his family in this particular time. So again, thank you to everybody who was involved in that. In regards to the inshore report, consistent fluke and sea bass, porgy fishing. I was over just off Block Island on Monday, limited out on sea bass and pulled up a bunch of keeper fluke of mixed size. Striped bass fishing's kind of slowing down. You can still pick away at some decent sized fish. It's a little bit more work, but they're still getting plenty of these fish and still some really big fish coming over the rail too to make it interesting. It's definitely worth going, but it's not the banter stuff it was like a couple weeks ago. In regards to fly fishing and light tackle, I've kind of shifted over. As everybody's seen, there's been some spectacular life on the south side. Pretty much from Fire Island all the way to Montauk Point, there's tons of bunker. So we've started catching some small sharks on light tackle. Anywhere from 80 to 100 pounds. It's a lot of fun. Really gets the rods going, and people seem to be enjoying it. You know, it's all catch and release, these small sharks, little sandbar sharks, and it's a lot of fun as they're eating the bunker. In regards to the offshore report, plenty of action offshore. The canyons are holding lots of fish. Kind of tight-lipped on stuff, so I can't give locations, but one boat reported plenty of yellowfin in the 50, 60, 70 pound range. The same boat, they did really well on white marlin. Had white marlin 70 to 80 pounds, and they were pretty consistent catches. Little Steven on the Viking 5-star, he came in. He's pretty much turning and burning the last couple weeks, and he's doing really good. He just texted me coming in today. They had 3 swordfish, one up to 175 pounds, bunch of really big mahi and a handful of yellowfin. The trip before, he had a big eye, 240 pounds, a pair of swordfish. I got a couple pictures of the stuff, and they were also doing a mixed tile trip in regards to that. So there's some picture of the tile fish as well. Weather's looking pretty good for the weekend. There's plenty of fish around. There's a lot to get the kids on it. Everybody's going to be happy fishing lately. So I'll turn it back to you, Matt, and thank you very much.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean. Mike.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone. That really cool time of year fishing going on. Maybe not, very dependable bass fishing or going for gator blues, but there's just such a diversity of life going on out here. Sharks, obviously, the story kind of like all around the South Shore and out in Montauk. A lot of light tackle action. Snagging bunkers, switching over to sturdier kind of setup. If it's sharks, even sharks going after some big pencil poppers. Even a lot of those docks. A couple of guys on fly have gotten 60 to 70 pound sharks. So really cool kind of catches that are out of the ordinary to hear of. Have not heard of any cobia caught here like they have been caught to the west, but got to think someone's going to hook into one. So we have that going on. The striped bass, there's some schoolies in the wash that are on the sand fleas. So anything from if you're a fly guy, one of those like mole crab kind of flies, or what's been working for me has been a 1 ounce white bucktail with any kind of dressing, be it a fat cow jig strip or rubber curly tail. It's all kind of worked. Even thrown a 1.5 ounce with nothing on it and got a few bites. A lot of bait, a lot of shad around, as well as bunker, at least that I've seen right off the beach. Never hurts to throw a clam belly or a bunker chunk on a circle hook, see what comes up. A couple of big razor around, which is always a cool fight. Have seen a lot more blues in the area, not really gators and a little bigger than cocktails, but those have been in the bay. So, so many people taking the kids snapper fishing this time of year, getting something a little bit bigger, which is pretty cool to hear about. In terms of tuna, it definitely has seemed to have slowed down, at least, close in Quambra type of, spots. I do have 2 buddies that went out over the weekend. Both of them ended up coming home with a few fish. They both had 3, after, a solid number of hours out there fishing. One of my buddies saw kind of like a slick spot, decided to troll through it, and they got 3 in a kind of short amount of time. Other buddies, similar type of thing, saw some tuna chick birds, saw a couple of porpoises, trolled through there, got a few. The jig bite, though, it doesn't seem like they've been as thick for that. Now, people that are going out, much further, Atlantis, the dip, the fingers, have gotten into some nice mahi. There's been a good albacore bite. So, hopefully the weather window will be okay for this weekend for that. So, get out there. You never know what you're going to catch this time of year. It's a fun time to be fishing. As always, leave a comment below. Reach out to me on social media. Any questions about your fishing, I'd love to hear about it. And I'll talk to you next week. Back to you, Matt.
Now let's get an update on the Dreamboat Contest with Tim C. Smith.
No changes in the standings of the Dreamboat Contest, but we do have some notable entries. Louis Moraes weighed in this 10.2-pound fluke recently at Montauk Marine Basin, placing him in 6th place in the fluke division. With Blackfish now open in Rhode Island, we received our first Blackfish entry from Leo Provost with a 11.2-pounder. And take a look at the belly on this sea robin. This glutton weighed in at 3.1 pounds, putting Mark Cristiano in 3rd place. The Dreamboat Fishing Challenge is the Fisherman subscriber-only season-long multi-species fishing competition with a chance to win a 25-foot Steiger Craft center console powered by Yamaha, along with many other great prizes. Subscribe now to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the action.
With our Fly in Freshwater report, we have Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Hello, Matt. Well, here we are on another spring creek. My beautiful wife and I are out there fishing the evening. Hopefully get some nice brook trout tonight. These little spring creeks on Long Island are just really gems, and hopefully I'm going to be able to post a photograph of us with a fish. Get back to saltwater. Well, a good friend of mine, Jimmy P., he actually was out in Montauk fishing with Captain Tim O'Rourke. Bluefish. Jimmy was complaining. He came to the shop how sore his arm was because that's how many fish they caught. Good friend of mine, Tim, he's out there catching those sharks. He actually had one of those spitter sharks off the beach. Snags a bunker, drops it down, and he's doing pretty good. As far as the South Shore, slow it down. It's a night game right now. There are fluke around. Most of them are moved already offshore. The guys that are going out fishing the colors, they're doing all right. Unfortunately for me, I had to cancel again my saltwater trip because the rivers were just so high, just too dangerous. But this coming Monday, I will be at the Farmington. My beautiful wife and I will be camping up there. Hopefully we'll have a great time. So, until then...
From the Fire Island area in Great South Bay, let's check in with Captain Lorenzetti.
Hey Matt, Fire Island report for the weekend of August 6th, 7th, and 8th. It looks like it should be fun fishing. A lot of things going on. Fluke fishing's decent in the ocean and inside. I know an 8-pound fluke was caught inside Fire Island Inlet by a private boat a couple of days ago. It was down to Babylon Village dock. Tons of snappers and crabs. Blowfish are in as well. They were catching blowfish and crab traps at the Babylon dock. So, you know, that's a lot of fun fishing, especially with kids before they go back to school. It's easy to do and certainly real good eating fish too. So blowfish are in, triggerfish also. Triggerfish on any of the pieces, structures, bridge columns, rock jetties, whatever. You can get near it, anchor up, and you're sure going to catch some nice triggerfish. The big trick there is cleaning them when you get them back home. So they're a little bit tough. And then offshore, of course, the tuna fish bite. And then, you know, the sharks on the bunker pods right outside the inlet, it's nuts. Mostly brown sharks, but, you know, people don't even want to go swimming in the water. There's so many of them. But anyway, that's about it. Looks like a decent week. And get back to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
From Northport, we have Mark McGowan from Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle.
Hey, thanks, Matt. I want to give a huge shout out to the Carusos and Fred and everybody over at Fish Media Corp that makes this stuff happen. You know, folks, you've got to subscribe. You've got to help support the network here because there's so much content that's worked so hard by so many people to bring it to you. And it's great, isn't it, to go on and just have this content to watch, whether you're reading it on paper, whether you're watching it on your computer or your smartphone, anything that we do now in modern day society, it's there, and these folks really do it the right way. So reach out, support it. It's not a lot of money to be a subscriber, and listen, you get a chance to be a Dreamboat winner, and that's huge in its own way. I also want to say it's great to meet so many people around Long Island. Give me good vibes. I love to give good vibes back to you and pass on these wonderful fishing stories. I look forward to seeing you in the future, and I love these reports. So let's get back to them. Seeing a lot of fish still. It's fantastic to see. You've got larger bluefish. We still have striped bass in the mix. Larger ones. They're out deep. You got to like really work them up, but they're out there, and it's fantastic when you get on these fish. As far as inside the harbors, you're seeing a lot of schoolie action starting to kick up now that the water temps have stabilized with this cool weather fronts we've had. Look in those back marsh areas, look in the creeks. It's just fantastic. Smaller bluefish inside the harbor. We're seeing a lot of snappers all over, and the greatest news is really to see a whole bunch of smaller weak fish. That means that these past several years they must have reproduced up here on the North Shore, because I'm starting to see like 6-inch to 12-inch weak fish, and that's just absolutely dynamic. Along with them, we're seeing a lot of blue claws in the mix. There's so much bait in the harbor, a lot of action. It's just fantastic. Porgy, forget about it. Porgy, you can cast backwards and catch porgy. You want to get on those baits. Remember, we're selling shrimp, we sell worms, and we sell delicious clams at the shop. All three of them work really well, and they all have their dynamic way of culling out nice fish. You know, you should get into our website, cowharbortackle.com. Check out some of the swag we have. You're going to see awesome looking hats, really nice shirts. Everything's affordably priced. Represent Cow Harbor out there. You enjoy those reports. Go to the website, show your support, get some apparel. It's great when we're out there and we get to see people out wearing our hats and stuff. It's just so cool, and it makes us feel good. It makes you feel really good. Till next week, I bid you peace. Tight lines.
Dave Anderson of the New England Fisherman has an update on the Coastal Kayak Clash. Dave.
We did not receive a submission that cracked the top 3, although we did receive a 23-inch sea bass from Alfred Green, which put him in 3rd place for the species category and is probably going to win him the Fish of the Month for July. We just need to wait for August 8th to come and go to make sure we don't get a late submission, and then Alfred's going to go home with a $100 gift certificate to yakattack.com. Now that we're in August, the Fish of the Month is going to be a sea robin. And if you can get the biggest one this month, then you too will take home a $100 gift certificate to yakattack.com. If you haven't joined the Coastal Kayak Clash yet, go to thefisherman.com, click on the contest menu, and go to the Coastal Kayak Clash webpage. You'll see that we're giving away a Hobie Mirage kayak, we're giving away a Humminbird, Fish Finder, and a whole bunch of other prizes. Sign yourself up and finish out the season strong.
From Oceanside, we have Captain Joey Leggio.
Hey Matt, what's going on? So this week's report, I'm going to be doing it out of the 3 inlets. We're going to talk about Jones Inlet, we're going to talk about Debs Inlet, and we're going to talk about some awesome catch out of Rockaway Inlet off the Rockaway Reef. So let's start out with Dylan Mittendorf. Good friend of mine, Dylan trailed his jet ski down to fish the areas of the Hempstead Reef out of Jones Inlet, and he had a great time fluke fishing on his jet ski, catching his limit of fluke to 4 pounds. Pretty cool to do it on a jet ski. Definitely like to try it one day. And also, Dylan, I think it'd be awesome if you could pull a shark on that jet ski one day. I think that'd be super cool, but be careful if you do that. Also out there in the same area, the fluke grounds, fishing the Hempstead Reef McAllister area, we had Jeremy from the High Hill Clothing Company. Jeremy sent me some photos. He had his limit of fluke to 25 inches, and he said the fishing was very good. Some nice stuff there. Also, there's been a lot of porgies, a lot of sea bass, and also a lot of triggerfish. I know Bob over at Sea Rogue had a whole bunch of triggers on one of his charters this week as well, so that's awesome. Excellent eating fish, a little bit pain in the ass to fillet. I do have a video up on my YouTube page. You can see how to do it. Once you get under that skin, they fillet fairly easy. But great eating fish. Don't throw those triggerfish back. Believe me, they're absolutely delicious. So on down to the Rockaway Reef. So this is pretty cool. So Rob and Joe DeZito took out, I believe they have a 21 for Parker. They went out trolling. You know, there's been a lot of bluefin in the area. The boys connected. They landed a 68-inch bluefin tuna within sight of New York City, fishing south of the Rockaway Reef. Pretty awesome achievement. 21 for Parker. 2 young guys out there doing it. So congrats, guys. Awesome job on that. Out a little further, where I don't really tuna fish anymore. So this is just a report came in from my buddy Mike and Elleron. They went out tuna fishing. They hit the local canyons. The guys did awesome with yellowfin tuna, and they also had a bunch of tilefish. And they said the life out there is pretty good still. So all those canyons, I'm sure, are still producing. And also that local area too. It seems like that yellowfin bite's still going on. I'm seeing a lot of pictures with some really jumbo-sized yellowfin, over 100 pounds. You know, so that's pretty cool, man. Especially on spin gear and poppers, man. That's got to be awesome. But anyhow, back to my report. So now, out of my inlet, out of the Debs Inlet area, I took my son Frankie out. We wanted to mess around, see if we could find something exotic. We were searching for the sheep's head. Took some beautiful fresh blue claw crabs that we caught off the poles, shot over to the pilings. First drop down, I hook into something, and it's pull and drag. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm totally excited. Think I got the one. Unfortunately, I didn't. It was a 27-inch striped bass. But following that was something that either was a large trigger or maybe it might have been a sheep's head. I'm not sure. There was an oval sheep fish following up though. Went over to a couple more poles and then hit another pole, and same thing. Dropped the bait down, took it off the bottom about a foot, bam, gets hit. This fish was dogging straight to the bottom, pulling heavy drag. Again, my excitement levels way up there, thinking that I got the right one, the targeted species. But unfortunately, again, it was another striper. This one was 34 inches. So, hey, we came home with some beautiful fillets, nice fresh striper. Also wasn't expecting to see that with the waters being warm. But speaking about the waters, the temperature did drop quite a bit. So I noticed the last time I was out, the temperatures went from 72 to 62. So that's a 10-degree drop. So those cobias right now, probably going to be a little tougher to catch. The sharks are still there, but they're definitely not the numbers that were there. But I'm sure you can still get, you know, some of those black tip spinners, browns, whatever might be lurking off the beaches. But other than that, that's it. The life's there, guys, from the canyons to the beach. So get out there, have a blast, take those kids fishing, get them off the X boxes, and get them into tackle boxes. Other than that, that's my report. Back to you, Matt.
Remember to like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. And of course, to be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Dreamboat Contest and Coastal Kayak Clash. Check out this video description on YouTube for all the related links and index with specific reports. Please support our correspondents by visiting their websites and social media pages. See you right here next week at thefisherman.com.